Abathur, the Evolution Master. As one of the unique heroes, Abathur needs just a little bit of special approach to be effective. But if you master this hero, he becomes an extremely effective pick, be it solo queue in Hero League, quick match, or teaming up with your friends. His set of abilities are Symbiote, which puts a head over any ally character, be it building, minion or a hero, with the exception of bosses, walls and other heroes' summons. By using Symbiote, your camera focuses on your target and you get a different set of skills. Stab, which is a skill shot that deals significant amount of damage to the first enemy hit and has 3 seconds cooldown. Spike Burst, which does damage to every enemy in a relatively short radius and has a 6-second cooldown. And Carapace, which puts a very weak but still useful shield on your ally and has a cooldown of 12 seconds. His other activatable ability is Toxic Nest, which spawns an invisible mine which explodes when any enemy collides with it. Mines exist for 90 seconds. It takes 5 seconds to deploy, and during this time it can be seen and destroyed by your foes. Worth mentioning that minions ignore mines, while towers and keeps focus them down. His passive is Locust Strain. It spawns a small locust every 15 seconds, which lasts 25 seconds, and moves to the nearest lane, constantly trying to push towards the enemy's core, and attacking anything it can attack in its immediate vicinity. Also, instead of having a mount, Abathur has a burrow ability, which lets him relocate to any visible location on the map. His ultimates are Ultimate Evolution, which upon use takes 4 seconds to spawn you as a copy of the targeted ally hero, with 20% increased damage stats and 10% increased movement speed. All their abilities, no talents and no access to their ultimate. Upon using Ultimate Evolution, Abathur despawns from the map, which can allow him to escape death or set up some interesting teamfight situations, but you should be careful, since after the evolution ends or is destroyed, Abathur respawns at the location his character was previously at. Other ultimate is Evolve Monstrosity, which transforms a friendly minion or your locust into a giant monstrosity, which lasts forever and by default pushes the lane it's left on. It gains 5% more health and damage every time an enemy minion dies next to it. You can control this monstrosity by using Symbiote on it, gaining all the skills Symbiote grants upon use and the ability to fully control its behavior using your mouse controls. Personally, I think there are 3 general builds you can go with Abathur. First build is Hive Mind build, which turns your symbiote skill into the source of constant damage, with an area of effect potential. Usually it results in Abathur having the most or very close to the most hero damage dealt on the score screen. It is important to pick Ultimate Evolution for this build, since the power spike hits at level 20 and you will be a lot more useful as another body in a teamfight until then. You might also want to choose Adrenal Overload instead of Envenomed Spikes, depending on your team compositions. I wouldn't recommend using this build in solo queue, since it relies on teammates to understand that they are actually more powerful than usual, and most of the time it just doesn't happen. Second build focuses on pushing lanes as hard as you can using your locusts and being still useful in teamfights when needed. You will eventually be able to destroy the keep in a matter of seconds if no one immediately tries to stop you. Use Ballista Spores to backdoor any keeps or forts when other team is out of position to immediately kill you. Remember that your team still needs you, that's where Ultimate Evolution comes into play. Third build revolves around your mines and serves as a giant annoyance to the opposing team. Ganking becomes impossible, repositioning and rotating causes them to slowly die, and they will need to be constantly afraid to run around in teamfights trying to get a good position, or they risk dying to your mines. Also, you can cut off their escape by putting nests along the best disengage paths. General tips for Abathur: always look at the map. You can avoid almost all of your deaths simply by knowing what happens on the minimap every 5 to 10 seconds. Soak lanes. Abathur only gains experience when his character or his symbiote is next to dying minions, which means you can soak actively 2 lanes at once, or 1 passively. It is extremely useful on maps which force both teams into specific locations, like Sky Temple, Curse Hollow or Battlefield of Eternity. Don't stay symbiotic. It has a 4-second cooldown after you decide to leave the host, which limits your ability of jumping from target to target, and if you stay on one target for longer than needed, you won't be able to help your other teammate when they need it the most. Be useful. By playing Abathur, you force your team to play a 4 vs 5 game, so make sure that you are more impactful than any other hero would be. Communicate. As Abathur, you have a lot of time to spare, so try to play the role of the observer for your team and keep them informed about anything important that is happening.